The river, once a source of life, rises with devastating force, consuming everything in its path, leaving
A storm of unimaginable power. A tornado rips through the land, its fury swallowing everything in its path.
With unstoppable fury, the volcano erupts, flooding the land with rivers of molten lava.
A deadly force surges through the town. Flash floods, powered by relentless rain,
A force that shatters the air itself. The sonic boom rips through the quiet tents. In mere moments, a powerful mudslide crashes down the mountain, swallowing everything in its path. A towering wave rises from the depths of the icy sea, sweeping everything before it. A rift in the sky tears open, unleashing a storm of unimaginable power. From the depths of the ocean, a powerful earthquake triggers a massive tsunami, surging toward the shore with unstoppable. A destructive tornado tears through the neighborhood, sending roofs flying, trees crashing, and debris scattering in all directions. The damage is relentless. As the mountain shakes with fury, the avalanche is unleashed, a wall of snow and debris racing down the slope.
a furious force unleashed. The wildfire spreads relentlessly, consuming.
A mighty river unleashes its fury, rising like an ancient beast, swallowing everything in its path, leaving behind only destruction and silence in the aftermath. A sudden surge from the creek transforms this peaceful village into a raging torrent. The floodwaters rise, devour Florence. The volcano erupts with explosive force, burying everything beneath rivers of molten lava and clouds of ash.
A massive landslide has blocked the road, trapping vehicles and causing widespread chaos. The mountain's power over
To disperse. A towering wall of ash and heat erupts from the volcano, sweeping across the island with unstoppable force. A city consumed by water. A massive flood surges through the streets, swallowing everything in its path. Cars are swept.
The city is being devoured by the sandstorm. Winds howl, sand fills the streets, and chaos unfolds.
In an instant, a massive mudslide surges down the mountain, sweeping away everything in its path. A two-story tsunami. The tsunami crashes into the city, sending people fleeing in terror. As the waves rise higher, the streets become a maze of chaos.
A catastrophic landslide is unleashed as the mountain's soil and rock fall with devastating force, burying everything.
A relentless storm is upon the sea. Waves crash, lightning strikes, and the ship fights to survive against the overwhelming Stindus. A violent earthquake triggers a deadly avalanche, racing down Nevado Huascaran at over 300 kilometers.
A fierce snowstorm descends upon the town. The winds howl and snow blizzards engulf everything.
In seconds, the mountain's fury erupts, and a massive mudslide tears through the village. A house. From the wreckage, hope begins to rise as the community works together to rebuild what was lost.
A massive mudslide erupts from the mountainside, swallowing everything in its path.
The village is buried in an instant as the superstorm unleashes its fury, tearing through the city with 315 kilometers per hour. The ship struggles to survive against the ocean's wrath as towering waves threaten to break it apart, and the relentless storm pushes it to its limits. The ocean's wrath is unrelenting, each wave a force of nature, slamming into the ocean. As the glacier fractures and calves, a massive chunk of ice crashes into the sea, reshaping the landscape. A ferocious snowstorm engulfs the highway. The winds howl, snow blinds the road, and vehicles struggle to stay on course.
A monstrous tornado touches down, its winds tearing through the land with unstoppable force.
A force from the deep. The ocean withdraws before it strikes. A massive wall of water surges toward the... As the avalanche gains momentum, nothing is safe from its path. The mountain trembles, the snow flows relentlessly, and even the most... From the wreckage, Hope begins to rise as the community works together to rebuild what was lost. An eruption of unimaginable power sends a towering wall of ash and fire sweeping across the base. The storm ravages the coastline, with 15-meter wave force winds tearing ships from the sea and sweeping them inland. A colossal thunderstorm unleashes its fury on the highway. Lightning strikes the grounds, and
A deadly force surges through the town. Flash floods, powered by relentless rain.
The superstorm strikes with unrelenting force, its winds and waves tearing apart the city, flooding streets, and leaving nothing but ruin in its wake. The storm's fury is unmatched. Lightning strikes the highway, explosions rock the city, and the winds rip through the roads. A devastating ice storm unleashes its fury, with hailstones the size of eggs smashing roofs, windows, and cars. The highway is under siege as lightning strikes relentlessly, and the tornado bears down, bringing chaos, destruction. A fierce lightning strike strikes down an ancient tree, splitting it in two. The storm's fury is relentless, tearing through the neighborhood. In the heart of the storm, the giant ship is tossed by waves higher than skyscrapers, struggling to stay afloat as the ocean rages with fury. A relentless storm is upon the sea. Waves crash, lightning strikes, and the ship fights to survive against the overwhelming
In Townsend, the river rises with an unstoppable force, consuming everything in its path, swallowing homes,
Fijians. In mere moments, a powerful mudslide crashes down the mountain, swallowing everything in its path.
Sealer Splatchavala. The glacier calves with tremendous force, sending a colossal chunk of ice crashing into the ocean. A spectacle.
The landslide is in full force as rocks, mud, and debris overwhelm the road, trapping vehicles and causing widespread chaos. City streets, once full of life, now drown under nature's relentless force. What was once a place of hope. The earth trembles as a powerful earthquake tears through the city.
In mere moments, buildings collapse, streets crack.
From the depths of the sea rises a monstrous wave, carrying ice, mud, and debris.
The storm rages with relentless fury. Lightning strikes the highway, causing chaos and destruction, while the winds...
Fighting the fury of the ocean, the massive ship plunges into waves taller than buildings, struggling to stay afloat as nature's wrath relentlessly batters it. The earth trembles as a powerful earthquake tears through the city.
In mere moments, buildings collapse, streets crack.
A monstrous storm unleashes its fury on the container ship as giant waves crash down, threatening to tear the vessel apart and send it to the depths of the ocean. A devastating ice storm unleashes its fury, with hailstones the size of eggs smashing roofs, windows, and cars.
The superstorm strikes with unrelenting fury, tearing apart the city with winds of 315 kilometers per hour.
A massive mudslide erupts from the mountainside, swallowing everything in its path.
The village is buried in an instant as amid the ocean's fury, the massive ship battles towering waves that threaten to swallow it whole, fighting against nature's rage in a battle for survival. The desert's fury descends upon the city. A violent sandstorm blocks out the sun and turns the streets into a deadly maze. As the glacier fractures and calves, a massive chunk of ice crashes into the sea, reshaping the landscape. A devastating tsunami surges into the city, engulfing everything in its path. The tsunami crashes into the city, sending people fleeing in terror. As the waves rise higher, the streets become a maze of chaos.
The mountain erupts in fury, sending a torrent of snow and debris crashing down the slopes with devastating speed, sweeping all in its path.
An unstoppable hailstorm descends on the city, with giant ice stones shattering everything in their path. The tsunami crashes into the city. As the waves rise higher, the streets become a maze.
The city is overwhelmed by a brutal snowstorm as gale-force winds tear through the streets, burying everything in snow and...
A A devastating tsunami surges into the city, engulfing everything in its path. The deadly avalanche descends from Nevado Huascarán, crashing into the town of Yungay with terrifying speed.
A ferocious tornado touches down, its winds tearing through the land with unimaginable force. Building
From the heavens, a relentless force. Hailstones, bigger and fiercer than ever before, pound the earth with A monstrous wave rises from the depths of the frozen sea, sweeping everything in its path. The shore is a fierce tornado rips through the neighborhood, tearing apart homes, uprooting trees, and sending debris flying. The devastation is unstoppable.
In the blink of an eye, the road is swallowed by the earth. A massive sinkhole opens up, pulling everything into its depths.
A massive mudslide erupts from the mountainside, swallowing everything in its path.
The village is buried in an instant as tsunami. The tsunami crashes into the city, sending people fleeing in terror. As the waves rise higher, the streets become a maze of chaos.
The storm's fury has reached its peak. The ship battles against colossal waves, relentless lightning.
As the mountain trembles, nature's fury is unleashed. The avalanche roars down the slope with unstoppable. The city is consumed by floodwaters. Cars are swept away, and people desperately fight to survive as the streets are swallowed by the relentless tide of water.
Ancient ice cracks and crumbles, sending colossal chunks into the ocean. A tremendous force reshapes the land.
A violent earthquake causes a massive avalanche to crash down from Nevado Huascarán, burying the town of Yungay.
A superstorm of unparalleled force engulfs the city, its winds tearing apart everything in their path and its waves